I was getting to the Shannon Sharpe topic, and I didn't do it last night. And I wanted to kind of like do that at the very least. So the whole thing with Shannon Sharpe is that, unfortunately for him, when there's blood on the streets, the vultures will start to linger. And we all know what's happening. A girlfriend or a girl he was fucking with for years, she basically is trying to, some people think, extort him. $50 million, apparently had offered 10. And he's been going through that. Stepped aside from ESPN. It's a lawsuit. And, I gave my opinion before, and I really still stick to my opinion. You see these lawsuits, like, the worst thing about it for someone of fame and notoriety is the initial sting. Like that, oh shit, everybody's reading this and they're assuming it's true. Why do I say that? Bro, the reality of things is that lawsuits takes years. Like, I've told you about lawsuits that's going into the fourth year. A lot of times there's no resolution. Sometimes the resolution ends up being something through arbitration. Like, again, it's not about resolving the lawsuit. It's about the damage you take once every media outlet reports this lawsuit. And now, in the court of public opinion, they made up their mind. They won't even wait for a civil court. And in most cases, there usually is no criminal court. So my strategy, or not strategy, but my advice to anyone, especially a man of color, if you get hit with a lawsuit, you got to plan for the next 2 to 3 months. Because that's really the biggest thing. Like you hear these astronomical numbers, $50 million. And just to be honest, like, anyone with a shrewd team, anyone with good lawyers, that $50 million is not like just there for this woman to get. Which, by the way, Vlad made a good point. I seen on Twitter where he was like, he doesn't understand why this woman wouldn't take. He said why she wouldn't take the $10 million. Because I don't think people understand lawsuits, and I think people think that money just like immediately falls in your lap. What Vlad said was this. To me, the strangest thing about the Shannon Sharpe rape case is her turning down $10 million. I agree too. Tony Busby would have gotten 30% of that. She would have gotten $7 million tax-free. If you put that in a 5% interest account, you'd be making $350K for the rest of your life without even touching the $7 million. Instead, she's choosing to take it to court. It's going to take like 1 to 3 years. Actually, some places it takes longer than that. She has a good chance of losing in court because Shannon's going to outspend her in legal costs. If she wins, the jury might award her less than $10 million. Yes, I know she's going for 50, but again, it's very likely that, let's say she wins and they give her $2.5 million. Shannon's going to protest it. He's going to try to get an appeal. He's going to try to get, when there's a jury or whatever, for them to reconsider how much. And even if he loses, it'll take another 1 or 2 years, get back to court. Then he might win the appeal. And then it's going to be a whole thing on collecting. Like we've seen rappers or whoever go into extreme methods to not have the money collected. You get what I'm saying? It says there's a potential delay of 5 years. That's what I kind of look at it. It's 5 years. You sue somebody, it's going to be like 5 years before you get to any type of resolution. And then it comes to, let's say you win, are they going to pay? So that's why I do wholeheartedly believe the weirdest part about this entire situation is that she turned down $10 million. Now, with all that being said, and this is what I was saying about these lawsuits, they take a while, but they initially give the sting of hurting your financial earning potential, right? Sponsors stepping aside, ESPN saying, bro, you got to go over there. It definitely does hurt you. But the actual lawsuit is going to take like half a decade to even get to a resolution. So I always tell people, I'm like, yo, you got to wait like 3 months. You got to get through this phase of, the media are like vultures. They're going to look for a big story and milk the shit out of it. I'm pretty sure they're going to talk to any woman that's had a sexual experience with Shannon. They're going to talk to your maids if you have one. If you have a female driver, they're going to go talk to your past jobs about anybody who works with you. And that's going to last for a little while. You hope you're not on some Diddy shit, right? Because with that, it was like the gift that kept giving. Every single day, new accusers. Every single day, new allegations. But Shannon Sharpe, and this next week is going to be important for him, because if there's any other chick that's laying in the woodworks, maybe, again, I don't know if they'll be telling the truth. Maybe they could be hurt, right? Like, man, I'm going to get my shit off. They're probably going to come out in the next few weeks. Now, what has happened is that there's a ex-girlfriend of his that's named Michelle. She's now coming back out again. Apparently, she had made similar allegations against him previously, but, you know, it's never more hot than now. She's coming back out, and her name is, by the way, Michelle Evans. She's coming back out to tell her story. So you could tell, like, this is a definition of aging like milk. Like, this chick is old as dirt. She looks like a fossil. This is like a chick that would probably be on like a 90s show like Baywatch, except I don't think she'd be on the beach. You feel what I'm saying? However, and we all know at this point, Shannon Sharpe ain't fucking with no chick that's, by the way, I think this was a picture when she was young, right? Anyway. Says the former NFL superstar and sports media personality Shannon Sharpe is actually at the center of a growing firestorm about a second woman, and has come forward with an explosive allegations of sexual assault. Just days after the news broke by OnlyFans model who claimed Sharpe assaulted her multiple times, the New York Post and other outlets have confirmed that there's a separate lawsuit that was quietly filed in 2023 by another former girlfriend, Michelle Evans. She said she was in a decade-long relationship with Sharpe, accused him of horrifying assault that allegedly took place in 2010. And, okay. This is the interesting thing. So she sued him again in 2023, but the assault took place in 2010. According to the court documents, Michelle, she said Sharpe became violent after an argument about his infidelity and proceeded to assault her in a terrifying and degrading manner sexually. The shocking details combined with the allegations of threats, intimidation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, it says, to put a few things in context, in 2010, I believe Shannon Sharpe had a job with like CBS. After, it didn't make that much of a splash, but after that happened, he was let go. And I think that was the reason. CBS Shannon Sharpe. Let's see. Yeah, I think the CBS thing. Yeah, I'm almost. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Fuck. CBS. Here we go. Shannon Sharpe temporarily stepped away from his role at CBS in 2010 after a woman accused him of sexual assault. Now, he later returned to that job. So apparently that was this Michelle Evans woman, right? Now, all I'm trying to tell y'all is like, bro, the vultures are starting to circle for Shannon Sharpe, and people have seen the strategy that has worked effectively with Diddy, which means when you see one accuser get the big splash, you basically, and also here's the thing, that's the thing about settling, right? We hear that, half of the reason, if you ask me, I'm not saying Diddy's a good person or not, half the reason he had damn near almost 100 people trying to sue him is because they heard that the nigga was paying. Like, a lot of these things aren't in the interest of the pursuit of justice. It's in the interest of pursuit of money. So they looked at Diddy when they heard Diddy gave $30 million to Cassie, and they're like, we don't need $30 million. Just give us $3 million. We're good. So we'll just put in our claim or allegations, give us some money, and we'll just go away. Or they probably start sending demand letters immediately. It's the same thing kind of happening with the Shannon Sharpe shit, except it's not that bad yet. Once his lawyer admitted that they had offered $10 million, every chick from his past, including this woman, was probably like, he ain't never offered me shit. I need to go get my money now. So this woman who's now like, and her lawyers trying to make this public, they're saying, according to Evans, the incident happened in 2010. So that's the thing that he has stepped aside from CBS 4. After a confrontation about his unfaithfulness, she says the argument quickly escalated into something more dark and traumatic. In her lawsuit, she describes how Shannon forced her to her knees and committed non-consensual oral sex. The nightmare didn't even end there. She says Shannon Sharpe then maneuvered her onto the bed and proceeded to have non-consensual vaginal sex while delivering a chilling message. He told me he was going to make it so no other man would want me. By the way, we've seen that same kind of titling or wordage when this new woman was making her allegations about Shannon too. These allegations depict an alarming pattern of power, control, and humiliation. She said after the incident, she wanted to go public with what happened to her, but when she made it clear to Shannon that she intended to speak out, he allegedly launched a terrifying campaign to silence her. He threatened to destroy my life. He told me he would use everyone to ruin me. The fear wasn't just emotional. According to Evans, someone showed up to her home and made a direct threat to her safety. I had a basement apartment with a door that led straight to the sidewalk. One night, someone came right up to my door and said, shut up, fucking bitch. She revealed in a new interview with the U.S. Sun. I dropped my restraining order right then because I had a child in the home. There was no way I could risk it. Evans had filed a restraining order against Sharpe, but she withdrew it shortly after what she described as an intense fear of her life and fear of safety for her family. So in 2023, she filed a lawsuit claiming defamation, libel, and slander. I'm wondering why she didn't claim sexual assault. According to the lawsuit, Sharpe used his influence and media platforms to discredit her and paint her as mentally unstable. She says these defamatory statements further damaged her reputation and deepened the trauma she experienced. She filed a lawsuit under New York City's Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act, a legal statute. Okay, we get that. Shannon Sharpe denied all the allegations against him. His legal team has issued, all right. Public outcry, okay. Yeah, they're trying to make Shannon the new Diddy. You know what I mean? They're trying to make Shannon Sharpe the new Diddy. Now, I'm wondering what he said about her in the past. And just for just a little bit of clarity in how I see this, it would be most likely, I think it's unlikely that he's going to go back to ESPN at all. It's going to be so many unresolved issues. And with, this is why this idea of a temporary leave sounds asinine to me. Didn't I just tell y'all that civil cases take 5 years to make or to complete? If a civil case, you're going to require 3 to 5 years for some conclusion, what could help Shannon Sharpe right now other than the woman backtracking and taking back her word? And multiple women at this point, right? So this Michelle Evans woman would be like, oh, nah, I actually lied. You think she's going to do that? I don't think so. Then the other woman, which is Gabrielle Zuniga, if she came out and be like, oh, no, I'm lying, yeah, Shannon would be, I think, immediately reinstated. However, I don't think that's what's going to happen, right? Now, the Vlad words are going to continue to come back around because I'm wondering what Tony Busby is advising her, and I'm wondering what her goal is when you guys have played your hand so heavy. I think it's insanely hurts his earning potential, but probably hurts the amount you guys could get as well, right? You can't get $50 million from a nigga who don't have it. Not saying, and I do love pocket watching, but not saying he has or doesn't have $50 million. But if he doesn't have like a contract to show that he's making X, Y, and Z amount of money, kind of hurts your case about getting this $50 million as was talked about, So let me see. Has Shannon even talked about this? Shannon Sharpe, Michelle Evans. Shannon do like them white girls, don't he? Shannon do love them white girls. Huh. Let me hear what Stephen A. Had to say about. And by the way, from all I see, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna like try to amend the complaint. I believe that she's going to add some sexual assault, like this Michelle Evans woman, because right now it only says defamation, slander, and libel, right? Which basically like there's a backdrop of sexual assault, but we don't hear. Hold on, this time the charges were not about the original sexuals, not just. Oh, okay. So it's probably addition. Okay, it's added. Never mind. So she had sued him back then. She dropped it. And then in 2010, then she sued him in 2023. Okay. All right. Yeah, they got uncooked. I ain't gonna lie. If you ask me, man, Shannon just got to double down on his own platform. I think he'll be fine. If everyone keeps talking about how he's playing it now. There is no proper way to play it. Like, honestly, there's no proper way to play it. I've been watching like all these other pundits talk about he's handling this wrong. There's no right way to handle a fucked up situation. The dude is in the middle of a negotiation. He has this big job. If he just stays quiet, he's gonna get crucified for the next 5 years. He's trying to like be a little bit open, but also, it's not even a misstep because all the missteps happened before the lawsuit was filed. Shorty literally has gathered all this evidence on him that she's going to slow leak, and that's probably the thing that you just can't really go toe-to-toe with. But in reality, there's no right way to handle this shit. I hate when people say that. Like, they'll say it about a situation not knowing that when these things happen, people want to cancel you. People want you to lose your job. People want you to lose your livelihood. Shit, some people want you to go to jail. There's no right way to handle this thing. If you be quiet, a lot of people think that's an admission of guilt. If you say, also they'll use you talk about everybody else's shit. Why you not talking out? If you then speak, and then you're like, hey, I'm about to be transparent, and shit, I'll even give y'all info that y'all didn't know, that y'all could make up your minds in a correct way. They feel like you're doing too much. I don't think there's a right way to handle it, if you ask me.